The Taylor 814 just got a next-gen upgrade.
Wait, can I trade in my old one?
Today, we are talking about Taylor's new next-gen models, specifically the 814 CE for 2026.
You know, one thing I've said this in other videos before, Taylor is not afraid to keep trying to kind of push the envelope. They're always looking to improve on what they've done. Being a newer company, they don't have to worry so much about, trying to reinvent the wheel, because they didn't invent the wheel. They're just making it better. So,
I mean, well, and they have some of the best engineers in the business.
Yeah.
So, like, when they set their mind to something, they can do it, and do it really, really well, and super efficiently. What they've done with the new next generation guitars, and this is going to be phasing in 2026, the most popular models. So you've got the 314 CE, the 414 CE, the 814 CE, and that's going to be continuing down the line as you go along, updating what used to be the standard specs for really since like 2018.
yeah. I tell you, one thing that just jumps out at me right away, after years and years in this business and years of selling Taylor, probably the most common thing I've heard is, what if I don't want the Taylor expression system? That seems to be a common occurrence. I think the expression system is a great system, but there's some people that just don't, it doesn't jibe with them. So what did they do kind of moving forward from hearing that complaint all the time?
So with the expression system, and if you're watching this, you're probably familiar. And the way it's been this way since what? First ES1 was like 2001, ish. You had controls mounted on the top. And at the time, let's be fair, compared to like some of the big giant Fishman preamps and the different stuff that was on there.
Eyesores.
The ES2 was like, oh, look at, ES1 actually, was like, oh, look at that. They've only got 3 little knobs and it's nice and neat. Exterior knobs have kind of really phased out of fashion. So they want a nice, clean, classic look. So no knobs on the back. You have them mounted in the sound hole, similar to a lot of other manufacturers nowadays.
I mean,
to kind of keep it hidden, keep it tucked.
LR is doing it. Fishman, all the companies are going to a sound hole mount. It's just less obtrusive.
Oh, it's less obtrusive, but it's also kind of like, your hand's in playing position anyway, so you can just kind of reach in there and make an adjustment instead of having to come over here and do whatever. Anyway, so the ES2, gone. What you have now is a new proprietary system, by the way. So it's not like they got rid of ES2 and said, all right, we're just gonna contract LR Bags to put a bunch of anthems on our guitars. They developed their own pickup system to replace it. So what you have now is the Claria.
The Claria?
The Claria.
Not the Clarion?
No, that's
not the Clarita.
That's 2028.
Not the Clarita?
Clarita. Some people might call it that, depending on where you live. Claria is simplifying things. So you're going back to a single undersaddle transducer,
which is what most people use.
For sure, similar to the VCC system that is in a lot of Gibsons from LR Bags, or like what's another like single transducer system?
K&K?
Well, I guess technically there's 3 on a K&K.
Okay.
Anyway, they're out there. I promise you.
You put me on the spot.
I put myself on the spot. I was hoping you would pull me out of it.
No.
Scott, what's some other ones?
well, let me tell you. There's lots out there.
There's lots of other ones that are a single undersaddle transducer.
You sure?
Anyway, great sound system. Really, like multi-source transducers are still very popular. Multi-source systems, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
We still sell and install a ton of LR Bags anthems aftermarket.
The anthems we sell probably more than anything else, and then being able to blend that microphone with that undersaddle. Yeah. So.
But a lot of people are like, you know what? I don't need all that. I just want a simple pickup that sounds great, and that's what they've done here. And I think that's gonna like make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
So updated pickup system. Updated bracing. Did we talk about the bracing already?
No, we didn't. Yeah.
Oh.
It's still a V-Class.
Still a V-Class. But they've started to scallop the V-Class.
You don't say.
And I do say.
So scalloped V-class.
Sorry, so like with Martin guitars, for example, let's compare to the other big guys for a second. You know, most of their bracing patterns are scalloped nowadays, especially nowadays. And what that is you know, you have a piece of wood that your brace is made out of. If you do not scallop that and you just leave it as a piece of wood, it might have a little taper this way, but basically it's just a rigid piece of wood. Well, by scalloping, they literally remove some of the inside to create more movement in there. So what happens when you scallop a brace? You're getting more movement to the top, so your basses are bassier, your treblies are trebler, and everything is...
Trebler?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I mean, this is a new thing for us. The treblies are trebler. I mean,
We
you
should
can't
make
get
a
that.
t-shirt that says
The
that.
treblies are trebler. That's a new thing you can only get on this guitar.
Anyway, everything's enhanced.
Yes.
You get more volume, you get more bass, you get more, like, really the big thing is like the bass, right? That's really what we're looking for, let's all be honest. And you're getting not only just more bass to the tone, but you're getting more air movement, and that's what's...
So there is no... Yeah, listen to that.
Yeah, that's... You see, like...
There is no argument to the fact that Andy Powers has brought more bass response to these guitars since he stepped into that factory. It's always been kind of the thing that, you know, I feel like that there's a place for every one of these brands. Taylor has always been known to be a little bit more crisp, a little more bright. People love it, and it to cut through a mix, I think, and some other things. Church musicians love it. But one thing I think Andy specifically has done and continues to push the envelope in for Taylors is bringing that bottom end back in. So it's sort of the best of both worlds. If you haven't played a modern Taylor because you know what Taylor used to be, you owe it to yourself to try these new ones.
And it's always different. Every time they've come out with a new iteration, you know, for years and years, they used a kind of a standard X-brace pattern. And then when they introduced V-Class in 2017, it really kind of reinvented the wheel for Taylor. And then now it's just a continuation on that. And I think, I don't know if it's necessarily that people want the best of all worlds, because I guess if you had a choice, of course you would take the best of all worlds option.
But how boring would that be if you had one guitar?
That's true. But people are still wanting, even with, you know, other major manufacturers, what you're seeing and what you're hearing with voicing these days is, I think what people want is, generally speaking, they want a breathier guitar. They want to make sure that you feel it in your chest when you play it, but they still want that clarity.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to do both.
You don't want them to be muddy.
No.
Of course not. You'd lose them. But it's trying to do both. And the Taylor has settled on a recipe. You know, it kind of also started with the Gold Label series last year. It's a kind of a continuation on that.
That Gold Label, you definitely saw that shift in tone, really kind of leaning into that new realm that people didn't know Taylor to be. And this just kind of capitalizes on that. It's definitely more trebler. But with meat.
but automatically, just strumming a chord, you hear more woof than you used to. Still lots of sustain, still lots and lots of clarity. But you feel it a little bit more in your chest when you're playing these new Taylors. This particular one, I don't know if they're gonna like strive to be like this on all of them, but like feel the weight on that. Have you played that guitar?
I mean, yeah, they're
super light.
They're insane. I mean, oh, we didn't talk about the neck either.
We will.
Yeah, so that new neck joint, you know, that Taylor is doing now, it makes, you know, every guitar is going to need a neck reset at some point. So how do you make that more accessible to the general user?
So they already had a fantastic system. So if you're not familiar with how Taylor attached their necks and adjusted their necks, previously they had what's called the NT system. And it's a bolt-on system. So there's a bolt right here holding the fingerboard extension on. There's two in the heel. So that a tech can basically just pop that neck off like a Stratocaster. I'm gonna come back to Stratocasters in a second, actually. You can pop it off like a Stratocaster, and there's two little pockets right here. Pocket right here and pocket right here to replace shims. So instead of having to like go through the normal process of recutting your joint and a laborious neck reset, you could do it in 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. Pop the neck off, replace the shims, realign it, put it back, and you're back to a perfect neck set. Took 20, 30 minutes for a certified tech. Now, what they're doing now is, if you're familiar with the Fender micro tilt system. So Fender had been doing that for a long, long time, and it even still comes on standard on a lot of models, a lot of more premium models. So basically what it is on a Fender, instead of having to remove the neck completely, you just loosen the bolts, and then they had a little set screw that you tighten with an Allen wrench, and it raised the neck up so you could adjust the angle on the Fender without having to take the neck off or put a shim in. It's just loosen it, pop it up, put it back. They've essentially done the same thing here with their new neck system. So essentially there's a little screw in there. It's kind of hard to see and kind of hard to like demonstrate, but there's a little screw in there similar to the Fender, and you can get in there with a tool, tighten that screw, and that essentially raises up your neck angle and resets your neck in 20 seconds instead of 30 minutes.
It makes for acoustics are notorious for having slightly higher action than an electric. There's a lot more variability on an electric, but it makes for having an acoustic that plays like an electric because you have much lower ability to get that action. So you have more complicated stuff, you can dial those strings way down.
So I have actually, on several guitars over the past 10 years, I've actually paid luthiers to reset the necks. And those guys are fantastic, but every time I've paid $500, $700, $800 to get a neck reset done, I'm always disappointed that it's not low enough. And I'm like, okay, well, this guy reset this neck, and yeah, it is better, but I would still like to be able to get that action lower. On something like this, you can literally set it at whatever height you want, like that. You don't have to have a tech reset your neck, and it's a whole big thing. It's just, it's like adjusting the truss rod.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That completely changes, like blows everybody's mind for an acoustic guitar to be able to do that.
This is easily one of the easiest to play acoustics that's been out in a long time. I mean, there's no arguing that. When you pick these up, they play like butter. So.
Yeah, all really great additions. As a player, as a person that sells Taylor guitars, I'm ecstatic about all these new changes. I think the new 2026 models are incredible. And it's just goes to show you that, you know, when they put their mind to something, Taylor does it, and they do it really, really well.
Yep, the Taylor 814 Next Gen.
Next Gen.
It's next generation coolness.
Wasn't the Star Trek?
Yes.
Star Trek, the next generation.
Yeah, 814, the next generation.